You finish other people's sentences in your head before they finish them out loud. You feel the weight of a conversation nobody else noticed was heavy. And somewhere, maybe in your chest, there is a low, constant hum. Not anxiety exactly, not sadness exactly, more like your brain never fully powers down. Here is the part researchers didn't expect. When they studied people in the top percentiles of cognitive ability, they didn't find confidence. They didn't find ease. They found something that looked almost exactly like self-sabotage. There's also a link nobody in this space talks about between high cognitive processing and emotional intensity. The brain that sees what others miss is also the brain most likely to struggle under the weight of seeing it. Why do some of the most cognitively gifted people feel the least understood? That answer is coming, but not yet. The problem is, almost nobody who actually lives inside a high-processing brain would describe the common story as true. What's actually happening is a loop, and in a high IQ brain, the Q is almost everything. Your brain processes more information per second than average, not metaphorically, literally, and the automatic thought that fires, it is not, I can handle this. It is, I can see how this could go wrong, in 17 different ways. Simultaneously, the routine, delay, overthink, withdraw, over-explain. Almost nobody can name the trigger. They can only name the habit. Studies found that people with higher IQ scores report significantly higher rates of existential anxiety, not lower, because they are more capable of imagining what there is to cope with. Here is the loop that runs underneath all of it. Every situation produces a thought. Every thought produces a feeling. Every feeling drives a behavior. The automatic thought for a high IQ brain, I need to have the right answer. If I don't, I've confirmed what part of me has always suspected. That core belief is the engine, installed before you were old enough to question it. Your intelligence was noticed, sometimes praised, sometimes feared, sometimes used. But the person inside the intelligence, the emotional experience of processing the world at that depth, was rarely acknowledged. Notice where that lands, a recognition that sits in the chest rather than the head. Your nervous system is confirming something it has known for a long time. Your brain does not switch off the same way other brains do. The hum you feel, that is not a malfunction. It just never got the instruction to stand down. Why does a brain this capable turn its intelligence against itself? That question has one answer, and it is not the answer most people expect. Your brain does not turn against itself because it is flawed. It turns against itself because it learned very early that the safest thing to do with its depth was to compress it, be less rather than more. I think too much is not a description of your brain. It is a conclusion drawn from years of social feedback, and conclusions are not permanent. Many intelligent people were taught that their natural way of processing was a problem, so they solved it by dimming themselves down. You are not a person who thinks too much. You are a brain that processes the world at a different depth. It was a gift that arrived without an instruction manual, in a room that didn't know what to do with it. This was never about intelligence. It was always about what you were taught to believe. Intelligence meant about your worth, and now you know the difference. When you notice the hesitation, don't ask, why am I doing this? Ask, what thought fired 3 seconds ago? That is where the loop starts, not the behavior, the thought. Name the thought, and you move from inside the loop to outside it. Stop using adjectives to describe yourself. Start using mechanisms. Not, I am anxious. Instead, my nervous system learned to treat uncertainty as threat. Change the label consistently, and you interrupt the self-concept generating the behavior. You came into this carrying a story that your brain was a problem, that it wouldn't slow down, that it saw too much, that it never quite fit the speed of the room. That story was not true. It was just the only story available at the time. The silence was never about having nothing to say. It was always about having learned that depth makes people uncomfortable. If that landed, the video on why emotionally intense people are wired differently will hit harder. It's there when you're ready.